Hello, word nerds, and welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and I'm having an interesting hair day. I was working on an event today, and I had my multiple pairs of headphones on, as I like to do, and it just messes with the hair. And so when I got back to the office to record, I had to play with it. Let's stretch it out and see what happens with the crazy hair today. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, let's did I say this is episode F132? It is. Let's get into the words. The first word in this episode is flight test. Two words with a hyphen. Transitive verb from 1930. To test in flight. And the thing that you might be testing is possibly maybe an airplane or a spacecraft. You gotta flight test it. Maybe it's a new thing. Maybe there's a new gadget on it. Maybe something. You gotta put it in flight and you gotta test it. And then you got yourself a flight test. Wonderful. I need to make a sound effect. Which one am I gonna do? Boy, I have to call it out. You can probably hear it. There's more smoke alarms beeping outside of that door. And they're probably going to get fixed in the morning, but so I think I'm going to go, my sound effect today is going to be, whoo. All right, now we have the word flighty. This is an adjective from 1552. Number one, the synonym is the word swift. And I think we had something, maybe with the word flight, we had something about swiftness and being speedy. And so if you are flighty, you are swift and quick. But you are other things too. Maybe you are number two, lacking stability or steadiness. And then 2A, easily upset. Synonym there is volatile, as in a flighty temper. Oh, your temper, it's volatile. You can hit that temper threshold so quickly, you can go from normal to angry in 3 seconds flat. Then it goes down, up and down, up and down. Your temper has no stability or no steadiness. I like to have a steady temper. I'm just angry all the time, just like the Hulk. 2B is easily excited. The synonym is skittish, as in a flighty horse. I think animals are the ones that we are usually thinking about when we're talking about this flighty description. Cats, many cats are flighty in this way. They are easily excited. You do one little thing to most cats, not all of them, but most of them, they're going to jump, they're going to freak out. They're going to do something. Skittish. Yeah. Our cat's pretty good. Audrey, she's pretty good. But every once in a while, there will be something that just sets her off. You could look at her funny. You could throw a toy. She could just do it on her own. All of a sudden, she's just like, hey, baby, it's time to play. I'm feeling flighty right now. Is that Audrey's voice? I didn't know she had such a deep voice. Not that deep. 2C. The synonyms are capricious and silly. And I guess that's probably the one that I think of usually. If I'm describing a person as flighty, or if somebody is describing me as flighty, which based on those synonyms, I think that is a completely fair thing to do. Capricious and silly. That's what half of this show is all about, just silliness. I can't remember what capricious means, but it's flighty. I'm feeling so flighty today with my hair. My hair is very flighty right now. It's easily excited. You look at it funny, and it just bounces up in the air. Flightily is an adverb. Flightiness is a noun. And that's it for the word flighty, so now we're going to go, hoo-ah! Now we have the word flim-flam. A fantastic word. Some really good alliteration there. It's like one whole big alliteration. Two words that almost sound the same, smooshed together into one word. This is the first form of flim-flam. What? How? There's more than one form of this silly word, flim-flam? It is a noun from circa 1570. Number 1, deceptive nonsense. Deceptive nonsense. It's nonsense. It's not real. It's false. It's fake. And it is deceiving you. It's making you think, maybe, that it's real, but it's not. That's why it's deceptive. Is that the best way to describe that? Is there a better way to describe that? I'm not sure. That's how I decided to do it. Deceptive nonsense. That would be a good band name, I think. Or a song name? Or an album name? Or maybe all three. Deceptive nonsense. Please, take it. Do something with that. Number 2, the synonyms are deception and fraud. Yeah, that's the whole thing about flim-flam. It's all about deceiving. The flim-flam is a trickster. What does the etymology have to say? This is perhaps of Scandinavian origin, akin to the Old Norse flim, which means mockery. So yeah, that makes sense. Mocking, in the Old Norse times, they said the word flim, which means mockery, something that's mocking and joking and being all false and deceiving. And then how did they add the flam to it? The Scandinavian people, did they add the flam? Where did that come in to play? The flim-flam. I love this. Allie Ward on her podcast Ologies, which, by the way, she just won I think it was Best Science Podcast at the iHeartRadio Awards, so congratulations to Ologies. But she likes to ask her experts, what's some flim-flam about your field of expertise, porcupines, whatever it is. And so yeah, it's a good word. What is some deceptive nonsense about worms? We got more. Hurrah! It's the second form of flim-flam. This is a transitive verb from 1660. This is to subject to a flim-flam. I'm going to subject you to a flim-flam when I flim-flam you with my flim-flam. You've been flim-flammed. Flim-flammer is a noun, and flim-flammery is also a noun. The flim-flammer is putting all their flim-flammery on the people who they like to flim-flam. Oh man, flim-flam. I can't stop saying it. Flim-flam, flim-flam. Will this be the word of the episode? I don't know. We'll have to find out. What are some other words we have in this episode? We also have the word flimsy. This is the first form. It is an adjective from circa 1702. Flimsy. Flimsy. It sounds like a character name, or maybe like a stuffed animal, a toy, a child's toy name. Like, what's the name of your toy? It's called Flimsy. I feel like it's very similar to some other toy that actually exists. Or was it the purple bear in Toy Story? Did that have a similar name? I can't remember. But flimsy is number 1A, lacking in physical strength or substance, as in flimsy silks. Yeah, silks, that's just those fabrics, they're flimsy because they're just flapping all around. You can't make a table out of silks, but they do seem to be very strong because people are doing those aerial dancing with the silks, and so they're not flimsy in that way, but they're very flexible. Maybe you can do the fabric juggling because they float. 1B is of interior materials and workmanship. That's flimsy? Oh boy, Spencer, come on. It's of inferior materials and workmanship. The eyes are going, and also so is the brain. Eyes see one thing, they see something okay, and then the brain says, that's even worse than what you thought it was. Of inferior materials and workmanship. That thing was made so crappy, we would call it flimsy. It's fallen apart. I think Homer Simpson, didn't he make it was either a doghouse or a birdhouse or something like that looked very flimsy. I think that was in maybe, the first season? Shows my age. Number 2 for flimsy is having little worth or plausibility. Plausibility, as in a flimsy excuse. That excuse is not very plausible. I don't believe you. I don't believe that I always go to the dog ate the homework, right? That's the classic excuse. I don't believe that your dog ate your homework because you don't have a dog. That is a flimsy excuse. Get a dog and then bring that excuse to me, and it won't be so flimsy anymore. Flimsily is an adverb, and flimsiness is a noun. Let's see. Do we have any etymology? Oh, interesting. Interesting. This is perhaps an alternative of the word film plus the sy suffix. As in tricksy. So the sy suffix is used also on a word called tricksy. I don't know if sy means something exactly, but we'll find out someday. And then they put it onto film, but film got mixed up around. The letters were put into a bingo ball, and those bingo balls. And then they pulled the letters out, and it came out as flim. And so film, the physical film that you use is very flexible. Maybe there's other films, like the film on your milk if you leave it out for too long. So yes, film, the idea of film is very flimsy and flexible. So I could see there's maybe somebody dyslexic was trying to write filmsy, and it came out as flimsy, and that just took hold. Because this is from the 1700s. But we have another one. Huh! It's the second form of flimsy. Noun from 1814. This is chiefly British, and it is a lightweight paper used especially for multiple copies. Also, a document printed on flimsy. A lightweight paper used especially for multiple copies. And then the thing that is from one of those copies is also the flimsy. I've never heard of this before. Is this like a carbon copy? And why is it flimsy? Is it literally flimsy because it's paper? That would make sense. Paper is pretty flimsy. British people, let me know if you like. And if you don't like, don't let me know. Hooah! Now we have the word flinch. Of course, my sound effect is me flinching. Flinching from nothing. Flinching from my own self. Okay, flinch. Flinch is an intransitive verb from 1578. It means to withdraw or shrink from, or as if from, pain. The synonym is wince, but also to tense the muscles involuntarily in anticipation of discomfort. I am anticipating that there will be some discomfort in my future, so I'm going to tense all my muscles because I don't want to feel the discomfort and possible pain. A synonym is the word recoil. So I think that this is more than just what this definition said. Just a flinch. I mean, yes, the second part is more what we think of as the flinch of the tensing of muscles, the reacting to some possible future discomfort, but it's more usually this immediate thing, this immediate, somebody maybe fakes like they're going to hit you or something, and then you flinch. And then if you're immature like me, you punch them in the shoulder twice and say 2 for flinching, because that's what us adults used to do when we were children. So yeah, I feel like there could have been maybe a little bit more to this definition. Flinch is a noun, and flincher is a noun. And I think there should be something about David Fincher, a takeoff of David Fincher, the wonderful director of many, many things. And so David Fincher is flinching at everything, I guess. This word is from Middle French, flanchir, which means to bend, of Germanic origin, akin to the Middle High German lenken, which means to bend, from Old High German hlanka, which means flank, and there's more at the word lank. And I know the flank is all about the side, but I'm not sure how that becomes flinch. Somehow, some way. Now we have flinders. Noun from the 15th century. The synonyms are splinters and fragments. Splinters and fragments are flinders. So, interesting. It's like kind of like they combine those two words together, but not really. There's not really any etymology. It says from Middle English flendrus. Flinders. I don't know. I have never heard of this one. I know splinters and I know fragments. We go way back. I've had many splinters in my life. But yes, maybe not so many flinders. Are flinders coming off of a certain thing? Is it from wood, from metal, from plaster? I'm trying to think of things that can like break apart. Dirt? A dust storm? I don't know. Flinders. Flinders. If you use this word, if you've heard this, if your family used to use this word, you can tell me all about it. Now we have the word fling. This is the first form of fling. This is the verb form. It is from the 14th century, and we are starting with intransitive. Number 1. To move in a brusque or headlong manner, as in flung out of the room in a rage. They were so angry, they flung themselves out of the room. I would like to see that literally. They picked themselves up and whoop. Only a cartoon can do that. Fling, to move out in a brusque or headlong manner. Yeah, there's a story there. Running out in a rage with their head first. Okay, that one I'm not so familiar with. How about number 2? It's talking about an animal. It means to kick or plunge vigorously. Fling? To kick or plunge vigorously. So the animal is kicking or plunging in a vigorous way. Kicking vigorously or plunging what? Plunging into water vigorously. The animal is flinging themselves? That one's a little odd. Number 3 is Scottish. The synonym is caper. So what kind of caper is this? The food caper or the Great Muppet Caper, that sort of caper. I can't think of another way to describe that other than Muppets. So that's a fling. A fling is a caper? Okay, I don't know. But maybe I'll know these. Now it's time for transitive. Number 1A, to throw forcefully, impetuously, or casually. As in, flung herself down on the sofa. There was a little bit of a difference between those words. To throw forcefully, she can throw herself forcefully onto the sofa because she's so tired. She wants to take a nap. She's a teenager, and oh my God, I can't believe what those people are saying in school. Impetuously, I honestly can't really think of a good way to describe that one. But also, casually. I'm just going to casually fling myself on the sofa. Not forcefully, but casually. And they both can be fling or flung. Casually. Okay, interesting. Oh, there's another example. Clothes were flung on the floor. Just, that one's, I think, more casually. I just don't care where they go. I'm going to leave them there for months, and then maybe someday I'll get around to washing them. Casually fling my clothes on the floor. Okay, 1B is to cast, as if by throwing, as in the example, flung off all restraint. To cast, so you maybe you are restrained by a straitjacket, and then somebody unties you, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I'm free. I have such claustrophobia. And then you fling off the straitjacket. I'm free! As if I flung it off, as if I were throwing it down. Okay, now we have number 2. To place or send suddenly and unceremoniously. The example is was arrested and flung into prison. There was no ceremony when they threw them in prison. Why would there be? And it was very sudden. Placing or sending suddenly and unceremoniously. Get in there. Get in there like your clothes and like the girl on the sofa. Number 3, to give unrestrainedly, as in flung himself into music. Ooh, this is cool. To give unrestrainedly. So he's giving himself to the music, and he's not restrained in any way. He's putting his whole being, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every single part of them, he is throwing into music 24/7. It's music, baby, all the time. He flung himself into it. Okay, that's cool. I like that more metaphorical definition. A synonym is the word throw. Yeah, just toss, throw it. Flinger is a noun. Okay, this word is from Middle English, perhaps of Scandinavian origin, akin to the Old Norse word flengja, which means to whip. To whip, like literally with a whip? Are we whipping a thing and then that's flinging? Is that connected to anything else? I don't know. It's like often a very like intense, sudden, forceful movement. Quick. It's a fling. But we got more for fling. Of course we do. Yes, we do. Hoo-ah! Oh, did I say that my action is... No, I got confused for a second, but I'm back on track, baby. Okay. Wow, I said baby 4 times in this episode. Moving on to the second form of fling. It is a noun from 1556. Number 1, an act or instance of flinging. Number 2A, a casual try or involvement. And similarly, 2B, a casual or brief love affair. It's you tried it. There was an involvement between 2 or more people, and you tried to see how it goes. It was a brief love affair, and it was very casual. It's not long-lasting. Maybe the attraction was more of the physical and less of the mental. You didn't really click in the mental world, but you clicked well in the physical world. Maybe not well enough to keep that relationship going. You just wanted a quick little fling. Number 3 is a period devoted to self-indulgence. Maybe that's kind of related to the brief love affair. I'm going to have a fling with myself. I'm going to do all the things that I like to do. I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm going to fling myself on the couch. Maybe watch some movies and TV shows, eat a bunch of junk food, and sleep. And I'm having a fling with myself tonight. So, yeah, again, this is all kind of the idea of throwing the thing into another thing quickly. Maybe not, it's not going to last very long. So, like the love affair one. Hey, we're going to try this thing. Hey, it didn't work out. We had some fun. We're done. It was a fling. It was just a fling. Let's see. Anything else? No, I guess it's the same etymology, which wasn't very helpful. Flint is next. Noun from before the 12th century. Number 1, a massive, hard, dark quartz that produces a spark when struck by steel. It's a flint. Okay, well, here's the thing. I think of flint as like maybe the stuff that comes off of the hard substance, but this is the thing. This is the thing that gets hit by the steel and produces a spark. You're hitting the flint, which is this quartz, a hard, dark quartz that is also massive. Number 2 for flint is an implement of flint used in prehistoric cultures. An implement of flint. So is that the quartz? Is that the rocks? The things that come off the rocks? I don't know. Number 3A is a piece of flint. I think that would be more the little piece that comes off of the quartz or the rock, stone, whatever. 3B, A material used for producing a spark, but especially an alloy of iron and cerium that is used in lighters. I never learned about the science of lighters. Yeah, what's going on in there when you click the thing? There's material in there, and it's what is this? The iron and the cerium are clicking together when you press that little button, and when they clack together, they create this flint. They create this spark, and then the spark is close to the oil, the gasoline, whatever is in there. What is it? Fuel of some kind, and then it creates the flame, the wonderful, wonderful flame. Okay, so now we got number 4, something resembling flint in hardness. So maybe that's resembling the quartz, because it's also very hard, and because they're both very hard, you can call them flint. Flint-like is an adjective. My brain, my head, my skull is very flint-like because it's very hard like a quartz, and you can hit it with steel, and then a spark will come off, and then you can light a fire from that. This word is from Old High German, flins, which means pebble or hard stone. Yeah, I guess I don't know the difference between the quartz and the stone. Quartz is a stone. Is it not a stone? Is it like a stone? Does it become a stone? I don't know. I imagine quartz, I guess I wouldn't call it a stone, but I don't know my materials like that. Let's see. Anything about flint? Well, I know people who are trying to make a fire on a campsite. There are little like boxes that are probably of that like iron and cerium thing that when you rub the thing on the other thing, it creates the flint. It creates the spark. I never did that. I don't know anything about that. And yeah, I guess hitting rocks together, I guess they have to be the right kind of rocks. That's a whole other thing. You gotta find the right types of rocks, maybe? I don't know. I'm not an outdoorsy person very much. Okay, moving on. Hua! Flint corn. 2 words, noun from 1705. A corn of a variety having kernels with a very hard, smooth seed coat, enclosing a small amount of soft endosperm. And the species name is Zea mays indurata. The only thing I can think of why they call this flint corn is because it's very hard. The kernels have a very hard, smooth seed coat. So they were like, this is so hard, you can make sparks from it. Probably not, though. I don't know. Ah! Now we have the last word in this episode, which is flint glass. 2 words, noun from 1683. Flint glass is heavy, brilliant glass that contains lead oxide, has a relatively high refractive index, and is used in lenses and prisms. I wonder if my glasses have flint glass. Why are they called flint glass? I don't know why it doesn't say anything about it being hard, but it's heavy, brilliant. It's heavy and brilliant. That glass is so smart. Yeah, I don't know. Flint glass. Maybe there's got to be some good reason. I'm not as smart as the glass, so I can't come up with a good reason. Flint glass. Okay, never heard of that. Never heard of flint corn. Now I'm going to pick a word of the episode, and you can't stop me. Today we had flight test, flighty, flim-flam, flim-flam, flimsy, flimsy, flinch, flinders, fling, fling, flint, flint corn, and flint glass. I mean, come on. Do I have to pick flim-flam as the word of the episode? I guess there wasn't really anything else that jumped out at me. I do love to fling myself on the couch or the bed. Flings. I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of flings, I don't think. I didn't have any of those brief love affairs. Maybe a couple. Yeah, let's pick flim-flam. as the word of the episode. I'm giving you flim-flam today. The flim-flam I'm giving you is deceptively nonsense. It's deceptive nonsense. It's flim-flam, 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 flim-flam. Okay, now I am going to tell you about a movie I watched. Yeah, I am up to date. The next one is the one that we watched last night, which is, if you listen to my podcast episodes in order like a good little child, you will know that the previous one was The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2, as I like to call it. And then we watched Jurassic Park 3. And, these are just fun dino movies. So The Lost World, the big thing about The Lost World was and how the dinosaurs are and how they're sort of relating to the dinosaurs. It was a lot about the studying them and seeing like, oh, how they're really kind of like humans, but also animals that we're aware of, modern day animals, and how, the parents care for their children and they go in herds and they protect the children. And so that was sort of a big theme throughout. And then in Jurassic Park 3, that was more about communication, how the raptors are communicating. Whoa, how did we never even thought about this? So that was kind of cool that they like delve into these things a little bit more, which I knew about when I had first seen these movies, but it didn't really stick with me, and I wasn't being super conscious of like, ooh, that's kind of the big theme of this specific film. Yeah, I just like them because they're ridiculous and fun, and we might tonight watch the next one, which is Jurassic World, the beginning of the next trilogy, made like 14 years later after Jurassic Park 3. And yeah, my wife has not seen the rest of these. She's only seen the first movie, and now she's seen the first 3. And let's see if we can get to 7. All 7. Okay, that's going to be the end. That's going to do it for me today. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.